Alright, this is kind of a test. This is a Division 2. This is kind of a test, kind of a stream. I want to upload more of these when I get fiber someday. Or maybe I just stream this or something. I don't know. So first of all, this is a side thing. So if anyone's gonna just completely lose their shit and leave some kind of idiotic comment, just know that gets really old. If you're not here for this, just click away. Like, just imagine the game is just in the background and I'm talking. So this is kind of a more ranty video. Since I think a lot of people are going to tune out, but the people that like to listen to my rants anyway don't really care what's on the screen. So I'll say first of all, like, I haven't released my other video yet, and I don't know what order these are going to fall into. But also this build, I'm just trying this build out for the first time, and I think it kind of sucks, but I'm not sure. So we're going to find out. On paper, it's not looking great. I got the new mask from the new event. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the game a ton yet. Oh, yeah, but yeah, so for those Division folks, though, this build should be doing about 1,000,000 DPS up close, but I can't quite tell. And I'm just getting picked up. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Oh, do these idiots have the thing where, like, the one move disables the other move? God, that's gonna fuck me. Anyway, I complained a lot about boomers in my last video, which, again, may or may not have been uploaded by the time I upload this one. And a lot of boomers get pissed off when you talk shit about boomers. And even though, like, I think by and large the military boomers should maybe get a pass, the reality is that they could have also done something about this, and they didn't. They had the age, the youth, the tactics, everything to fix this. And I say fixing in the air quotes because you know what I mean by fixing it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They could have fixed this. You were never, ever, ever, ever voting your way out of this. And you're never, ever, ever going to be voting your way out of this. I like to say we keep trying to vote our way out of it as a... How do I say this? I'm switching builds if it'll let me. Nope. We try to vote our way out of this as a courtesy that at least we're trying. Does that make sense? Actually, I realize now why I think my build's not going to work. Okay. We vote our way out of this or we try to vote as a courtesy to show that, hey, at least we're trying the process, we're trying the system. The problem is with that is that the boomers aren't actually trying to vote their way out of this. They sit and they fucking complain about rigged voting. Oh, the voting's rigged. The voting's rigged. The voting's rigged. Well, who could have done something about that and didn't? Oh, yeah, that's right. The boomers. Like, I was still a kid when the voting in our state changed. And what I think a lot of people recognize is when the first election got stolen here in the Pacific Northwest. I was vaguely aware of it, But, like, there was nothing I could do about it. I think I had maybe, like, just turned 18 when it happened. I had no idea what was going on, and I'm like, oh, they'll fix that, right? They'll fix that, right? Someone will fix that, right? They just kept recounting over and over and over and over and over and over until they won. And those of you who know now know that when the recounts happened over and over and over and over again, that for some reason always predominantly goes to one side. Dude, are you gonna just sit on that? Fuck, this is... Dude, you know... Stop looking at the damn loot and get off the box. Freaking weirdo. So, they could have done something. They could have said, this isn't right. We're going to put our foot down. This election was stolen. We found all this fraud. Yada, yada, yada. I don't know what these guys are doing. Are we taking control points? Is that what's going on? Okay. So, but they didn't do anything. And Washington has been lost ever since. Washington's been lost ever since. Okay, that was 100% on them. Okay, 100%. They didn't do anything, and now, oh, I'm just gonna move. Washington's lost. There's no point in voting. They just steal our votes, man. They just steal our votes. Dude, you let them do that. You guys wanted to eke out and wait till your retirement, and you let that happen. And then, but you might go, but J6, all the boomers went in the Capitol building. They did. They went in the Capitol building and they took their selfies and they got in trouble. And you know what? They still didn't do anything. And you could say, well, you know, everybody else could have done something that time. I think J6 was another warning sign, but it wasn't backed up by anything afterwards. It was a warning. It was a stick with no hot dog or something. I'll have to work on that mask build later. Here we go. And they let our Second Amendment rights get eroded over and over and over and over. I wasn't young enough to stock up on 2A material when you could just go to a gun show and get whatever you wanted right across the table. They had that. They had everything given to them for free. Oh, they had to work a little bit, sure, but like Mr. Golden Bullet over here. He's like, Mr. Golden Bullet is like squad wiping the whole mob pool. He's like one shot headshotting with the Golden Bullet the whole mob. That's pretty rad. So yeah, they worked. Oh, their bodies, their bodies XYZ, because they worked in warehouses and stuff. Look, I get it, but all that work was just so they could run the clock out. They ran it right up to the last second and then they retired. And then they wave their arms around and go, why won't somebody do something? Why won't somebody do something? And it's like, you had 40 years. You had 40 years and you didn't do anything. You didn't even pay attention to who you were voting for half the time. You didn't even bother to put good candidates down. Like, you got taken for a ride. And I think you were sold a false bill of goods, and you never called them on it. There should have been a fixin' should have happened. I don't know where the I can't see in the damn storm where the where the safe house, or where the safe house is. Oh well, I guess we're skipping it. They should have fixed it 40 years ago. And I get sick and tired of them belly aching about somebody should do something. And then they blame Gen X. And it's like, listen, man. It was like this when we got here. And the big thing that people forget is, like, you put Gen X in. Gen X wasn't put in charge there because there was nobody from our generation to vote for, and it's not like the boomers would have, like, voted for our candidate. And they're single issue voters. They vote for their Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and all their feel good hippy dippy bullshit is what they do. Because, you know, they worked for this. Dude, if you worked for this, if you worked for Social Security, if you worked for that Social Security, they shouldn't be able to take it away from you. If you worked so hard for your Medicare and Medicaid, they shouldn't be able to take it away from you. You would fix the problem, in air quotes. And by fixing the problem, you know what I mean. But you don't go fix the problem. You don't. You keep getting threatened to have the thing taken away that you say you worked for. Just the best boomers could do. The best they could do. And I'm not talking about the ones in the military again, because you worked for your military pension. And I get it. I get that. Okay. The best you could hope for is not having Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security anymore. That's the best you could hope for. There's ways that can get way worse. Man, Mr. Golden Bullet is just one-shot headshotting everybody, which is rad. They don't even need me. I'm doing nothing. And so, and that's for everybody else too. The difference is, eek, get the fuck out of the way, you stupid NPC. There isn't going to be anything for Gen X to retire off of. So we're already planning on not having anything. And there's nothing for the Zoomers and Millennials and stuff. There's nothing there for them. There isn't going to be a pension. There isn't going to be retirement. Everything's going to be in digital currency. They don't have anything. The boomers are the last ones that are going to have any of that, because there's no careers anymore. They're firing even, the city, the state. They're firing everybody before they can retire, so they don't have to pay them. Believe me. So, I forget where the cache is on this one too. Here we go. So the best you could hope for is whatever you can secure by hand yourself. When we were in the second, third, fourth grade, something like that, they explained to us, you know, if you put your money in, this is what they taught us. Put your money into an IRA, put your money into 401k, put in, you know, $2,000 a month or something like that, which is just absurd because we're in like the, you know, the 4th grade or something, but this is what they told us. They told us this many times, you know, don't wait, you know, put $2,000 a month into your 401k, and by the time you retire, you're going to have $1 million and you'll be able to retire. Well, fast forward now I know the people that are the big poors are going to get pissed at this. $1 million is nothing. $1 billion, for all intents and purposes, is like nothing anymore. You might go, oh, Chance, $1 billion, it's not, though. You could maybe buy a small business with $1 billion, because venture capitalists and investment firms have bought them all, and they all have huge moats around them. They're called moats. When the technology, here you go, buddy. When the technology is so high up that nobody can break in. Hold on, I gotta res my little munchkins here. There we go. Go forth, munchkins. Oh my gosh, they're getting creamed. My munchkins are getting creamed. Did he despawn? He did. Okay. Maybe I can draw fire for him. The problem is they've got some stupid protocols turned on where I'm not getting my armor, because these guys are playing like super hardcore mode, so my armor's messed up, if you're wondering, if you've never played the higher difficulties of this before. Let's grenade this guy so he'll come down, hopefully. Here we go. The refuse. So could your individual life change if you had $1 million? Maybe for a couple years, but that's not generational wealth anymore. Oh, he's kicking my ass. It's not generational wealth anymore. If you want generational wealth, you better have like $10 million and a lot of property. And the problem is, go to a casino sometime, and you'll see that the boomers are just pissing their money away. That's not going to their children. That's not going to their grandchildren. They're not setting up generational wealth. They're not making sure that their kids have a property that they'll always be able to live on no matter what, and fall back and rally their RVs together. Half my family doesn't believe in that, and the other half of my family left. So again, like they would rather just leave. Like I think they know they fucked up. Like I think the boomers know that they fucked up, and they just don't want to admit it. I'm coming. And then when it comes time for someone to do something about it, they want to criticize them. And it's like, no, I'm coming. Oh my gosh. I'm coming. When it comes time for someone to do something about it, they're just going to bellyache. Every time there's a new candidate that they don't like, they all turn on them. Oh, I'm gonna get annihilated now. Goodbye, cruel world. Dude, this not being able to stack my armor up is really annoying. Is this the one where I have to use the armor panels to heal my armor? It is. Gotcha. Okay. It's alright. I'm alright. Where's our helpers? Our helpers are stuck. Okay. They're gonna get in the way, and they're gonna say it's too extreme, and they're going to... That can't, you know, they don't like that candidate. They're gonna find something wrong, and someone's gonna, you know, say that candidate voted no on something one time, even though the obvious solution is to just have single issue votes. And I think they get upset because they feel like they're being blamed for everything, and it's too late for them to do anything. But I cover a lot of this in my other podcasts, but this is kind of, I guess, what I'll call the extended rant. Is there's a lot they can do still, and the very first thing they could do is, when there's a candidate that we like, they could actually back that candidate instead of, you know, oh, well, it's the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils. Dude, stop sitting on the fucking chest. It's like, fuck the lesser of two evils. Like, the worse it gets, the more extreme it's going to seem, right? Like, that's just the way it is. You can't just keep voting for, like, milquetoast vanilla candidates. And instead they find something nitpicky, and all the boomers go nitpick somebody, and then they get in fights with their kids, and they split their votes because they vote to feel better. And it's like, no, sit down with your kids and be like, look, we fucked up, okay? And then go sit down with all your friends and have those crucial conversations. Be like, we fucked up, okay? And you put a line in the sand. And you say, look, it's going to be this candidate. We're going to tell everybody to vote for this candidate. We're going to make sure the election... I wonder if I'm lagging. We're going to make sure the elections are legit. We're going to make sure illegals can't vote. We're going to make sure... Excuse me. We're going to make sure every vote's counted. And we're going to make sure everybody actually gets their ass into the, you know, make sure everyone actually turns in their election. Make sure every vote's actually counted. And then things are gonna happen. Make it happen. And instead they're like, oh, well, I guess I'll just go back to Judge Judy. It's like, dude, there's real consequences for this. When they redistrict, there's real consequences for that. Every little teeny tiny move they make to put every new teeny tiny little position in charge, every time they add an extra little person, an extra little hurdle. Ah, shit, I'm coming. They are doing that with a massive strategy. A massive strategy in mind. They don't do any of this by accident. So you have to fight in the ballot box tooth and nail every single little teeny tiny stupid thing they want to do. Because you don't know this, but like your county could be held by one innocuous little stupid position that you don't even know needed to be filled by somebody, and then that gives them all. Oh, see, nobody's got any armor because they're not healing up. And all of a sudden, like, you lost your whole county because all of a sudden that one vote that you didn't know you needed was in the one position that you didn't know was empty. Like, politics is really, really ultra specific about this stuff. And you can lose everything. You can lose an entire county that way. And the more counties you lose, the more of the state you lose. The more of the state you lose, the more of the country you lose. And that's how California spread out and basically dominated the entire country. That's how California basically took over the whole country. And I'm not saying we should have blocked Californians from moving, but the fact that they can move and then immediately vote what made their state a shithole to begin with. Like, they can just move and vote. They can just move and vote. And nobody has a talk with them that say, look, we don't vote that way here, friend. And that's the difference that's the difference between the left and the right. The left will go, we're voting this way. And conservatives will be like, oh, haha, welcome, because, you know, you don't want to seem extreme. Oh my gosh, we're going to get wiped. Come on, you guys, freaking respawn. Hello? Guys, respawn. Hello? You guys gonna respawn? Can we not? Can you guys not? I can't kill this guy. Where are they? I can't kill that guy. I know it seems like I'm saying, like, vote in the one hand and that the other things are going to have to happen in the other hand. But you do both. If you want to have the moral high ground in the end, which is what I think everybody wants, because I think for the things to be justified, everybody has to have the moral high ground. And I get that. I am totally okay with that. The problem is that we had the moral high ground 40 years ago. And by we, I mean the boomers had the moral high ground 40 years ago. It was obvious this was sliding off a cliff in, like, what, the 30s or something, when the prohibition happened. I can't stand alcohol either, okay? But I'm not prohibition. And I guess, like, the name number MAGA gal bot had a point. Oh, that's from my other episode that I haven't aired yet. Contact. we I don't they're kind of classifying the war with cartels as like another war on drugs. And it kind of is, but I think it's more than that now. I think it's a war on trafficking and organized crime and a soft invasion in a lot of ways. Excuse me. So I don't know if this was like a real person. I think they were a bot, but it still got me thinking, like, was there any lessons to be learned about the last war on drugs and whatever this is with the cartels? And I don't think so. I think there aren't any videos on the TV anymore about fentanyl being bad. And I think in so many ways the last war on drugs was just a failure. Like, pot is annoying as all get out, but it's not really the end of the world. It was all the other open air drug use. And you could try to say, oh, you guys got here quick. There goes Mr. Tractor. You could say pot was like a gateway drug. But it was but I mean, are you going to jail everybody for pot? I mean, that's really stupid. Whereas people that were doing the hard street drugs are violent psychopaths breaking into everything to steal to get their next even teeny tiny fix. And there's total meth zombies. Like, if you don't understand the difference between a meth zombie, you know, a fent zombie, and then an irritating pothead that won't stop eating everything. If you don't understand that there's a difference there, then that's kind of on you. So this is my opinion on that. But I think when the shit hits the fan, I think a lot of the drug stuff is going to go away. There'll still be tobacco. There'll still be pot. I mean, presumably there'll still be opium. I guess people could still cook up a couple other drugs for at least a little while, but the war on drugs is really... Okay, are the three-letter agencies going to have control over who's in charge of the drugs? That's really what it is. So maybe in some regards it is the same as the last war on drugs. I don't know, but I think the war has changed. And I think the cartels have greatly expanded. I don't think it's the same. I don't think the narcos now are necessarily the same. I think they've gotten more radicalized, more violent, more trained, better tech, better hardware. It isn't just a poppy field anymore. It's more than that. But again, in a lot of ways, it's like it's too late. Like, there's so many people here on drugs that, man, this person is just mopping the whole deal. There's so many people on drugs, like, we can't fix that. Talk to your kids about not doing drugs. If your kid's living in your house on drugs, set an ultimatum Explain to them that they're funding narco-terrorism. I mean, that's it. That's the long and short of it. Unless they're growing their own, like, again, I'm not talking about pot, although I've seen videos of illegals running, illegals, kids running, in the pot farms and stuff. So I guess, know where you're getting your pot from. These guys are flying so fast I can't keep up with them. People that play this a lot and have like maxed out characters don't even go get the supply rooms anymore. And they're not even looting. And it's, when you're building your character, it's really hard to keep up with them. So maybe this group is maybe this group is gonna fall apart, which is why I've got proficiency caches laying everywhere, but they're not running in to get the control point loot. They're just running to the next one. So what am I trying to say here? And I said this this is gonna feel like a repeat when you listen to the other video. But like now is the time to have these uncomfortable conversations with people that, I kind of thought maybe like the last vote was going to be the last vote, but there's still local. That's the Tinkerer mask, by the way. There's still local stuff that you can vote for. Okay? Like there's still local changes that you can make. Did I get kicked out or did they just disband the group? Group disbanded. What did we? I wonder if we were working on the, no. I don't even know what that group was working on. I think they were just farming control points. Free roam. Okay, I gotta go clean out my inventory before I join any more groups. Back to the White House. You've got to have these conversations now because there isn't going to be much time left. The midterms never go in the favor of whoever it is that's in charge. So we're going to lose all of our seats. Nothing's going to get done. 2 years will have gone by and nothing will have gone done again. Orange Man is about the softest on 2A that can be imagined. And you can try to swing it however you want. But nothing Second Amendment wise has moved for all intents and purposes on the local level. Pam Bondi and Human and stuff keep saying that they're going to do stuff to clear out the I-5 corridor, and they haven't stepped foot here. They're like, you have 2 more weeks, I swear, for real this time. Meanwhile, the leftist governors over here, the leftist I-5 cabal, are 110 to 117. That's decent. They're just doubling down on the fact that they're going to fight Orange Man on everything. Yeah, that's not going to work. I wonder if Streamline works when my shield's up. I don't know. I think that mask build is going to be funky for this character. Maybe I'm just not going to worry about it right now. Alright. And 117 to 134. Ah, yeah. Moving up in the world of expertise. Okay, well, now that I'm out of that group, what should I go work on? Ooh, there's a resource convoy. Oh, I'm not going to make it in time. Did that really reset all my control points? It's dumb that since I was in somebody else's group, it didn't count. Maybe it's because I'm in a different difficulty. I don't know. I kind of didn't have a plan for what I was going to do here. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just end it there. And then this will be a test, and everyone can be like, oh, you spent an hour bitching about boomers. What have you done? Listen. I don't have to tell you what the fuck I've done. And I don't even want to talk about what's going to have to happen. The bottom line is that in 40 years, nothing's happened. And maybe Orange Man was some kind of compromise, but Orange Man's not who I wanted in office. I wanted Rand Paul in office is who I wanted. That didn't happen. So, I think Orange Man has some pros and some cons. But make no mistake, like, we're screwed now no matter what. There's always a named out here, by the way, for some reason, which I think is cool. It's a fun little treat out here to go get them. Like, they had 4 years to set him up to perfectly fail. The Fed's going to lower interest rates a little bit, housing. I think that could cause a housing market crash. Everybody's going to go from not being able to buy or sell a house to there just being too many houses on the market. And inflation's just going to be crazy. Inflation's going to be crazy. And I'm going to go take this control point. Intel's had mass layoffs. Portland is completely crashing. They're at the lowest employment they've been since the absolute bottom of the Rona. They're going to be in free fall. There's still ice riots every night, which, by the way, you wouldn't know because they're not, you know how it says the revolution won't be televised. I used to think it will. I mean, there's still little snippets of video here and there, but it's not on the mainstream news. Oh man, this is a big mob pull. There's civil unrest every night, and you don't even know about it, as long as you can go watch your football. And that's the thing. Like, as long as everyone could just like write out the rest of their life and watch their football, they didn't care. And year after year after year, as long as the football kept going, nobody cared. And then even when they did the whole thing with like CG people in the stands and, trying to sing, all kinds of other national anthems and all that, and y'all still kept watching football. Like, you've got no backbone. Like, you have to find that backbone. If one of the things I've learned at all during the Rona, when I finally, as a lot of other people like me did, like, oh, this is great, I can just crawl into my shell and not talk to anybody. And I see a lot of people tout that online, like that's some big, cool, funny, haha, virtuous thing. But you have to be able to talk to people now more than ever. First of all, if you're able to stay home, you're extremely privileged, and you shouldn't take that for granted. And the fact that you don't have to practice talking to people very much means that you're at even greater risk of slipping up if you do have to talk to somebody. Like, you have to keep brushed up on those people skills. You gotta be able to keep the crazy in. And I know it takes like ludicrous amounts of energy to do that. Believe me, I know. But if you don't learn how to get it out of your system, you're gonna say really dumb shit when you actually need to talk to people and convince them of things. When you need to actually, I don't know, win them over, get them on your side. Like, and I get it. Like, there's undoubtedly people that watch this that are a little bit older. Oh crap, I just want to drink my coffee. Like, I get that, but listen, I'm allowed to have, how do I say this? I don't have to like everybody's mindset. Just like people don't have to like my mindset. And I think one of those things that we all need is calling each other on our bullshit. Because otherwise, that animosity and that resentment just build, and everybody goes back to their corners and they pout. And I am just as guilty of that. I am fucking tired of people's shitty fucking attitudes. I'm tired of people not listening when I preface something I'm about to say. I fucking hate it when I'm working on something and I tell people, like, this is a work in progress, and they still have to have a shitty fucking comment. I hate that shit. And you know why? Because they aren't fucking listening. They're not paying attention. They're probably drunk. They might be high. They think everything is just funny and there's no fucking consequences. Because they don't have to make shit work with you. There's no desire for them to meet you in the middle on anything. So they can just pop off. They can just run their mouth. Because nobody calls each other on their shit anymore. Because nobody speaks their mind anymore. That's, they just pop off. Like little kids that used to just say the first thing that came to mind. Like, everyone's turned back into petulant little kids. Like, that's what the Rona has done. Everyone's like passive aggressive little assholes, and then they don't listen. They just react because they choose whichever thing to react is whichever thing is just giving them the most endorphins to say at that exact second. They've channeled their responses to just not take anybody else into consideration. They don't sit there and be like, is this really what I want to say? Is this really how I feel? But if you don't talk about it, if you don't throw it out there, if you're not willing, fentanyl. If you're not willing to be challenged and called out on your bullshit. But I think people confuse that with trying to like micro find some tiny piece of the semantics wrong where it's like, well, actually, and it's like, you're talking about, you know, like 1% here. We're to have a conversation. Don't wave at me, you weirdo. Just taunting me over there. To have a conversation, you know, you've got to make a little bit of a generalization. And you can't take the conversation personally. Like, if somebody starts talking about Gen X this, Gen X that, I'm not going to take it personally. I'm going to assume that they're talking about some generalization to try to make the, you know, try to make their point come across like a little bit faster than doing like these massive qualifications as if we're having a scientific debate. Contact. And it's the same thing with other ethnicities. It's like, I'm not talking about you. I'm trying to make a point about the overall issue. And if you keep making it about you, then there's no way to have the conversation. Like, the conversation can't happen. Or when it just turns into like back and forth accusations. It's like, we can't move forward if I can't prove a point. And if you're not going to let me prove a point, even if it's about a generalization, then it's like, how can we ever move forward? And we have to figure out how to move forward. But people, they'd rather argue about the premise than the fact where it's like, well, yeah, more often than not, that's right, or more often than not, that is what happened. But people, they take it so personally. And it's like, man, I'm not talking about you. Now they could try to say that's not what happened, except it is what happened. It is what's happening. Like, illegals are making illegal food stands everywhere, and everybody's getting sick of it. Homeless really are putting tent cities up everywhere. You might not like that, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true. There's probably hundreds of millions of dollars being funneled through the cities in the homeless industrial complex. Your taxes are getting completely wasted. You might not like that, but it's overwhelmingly true. The cities are completely lost. You might not like that, but it's overwhelmingly true. And it is because of a very, 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 very small demographic of people. Namely, the ones in charge. And Portland tried to vote in a new DA, and it did not fucking matter. And conservatives are trying to keep the federal level honest so that everything doesn't turn into like a giant martial law overreach. While the left is throwing soda cans at ICE for trying to deport illegal gangs. Like, the scariest thing in the world for them would be if we all actually found a way to get along. But you can't blame me for not wanting to get along when they're violent leftist psychopaths. And the hippy dippy Woodstock left tolerates them. We're just non-violent, man. No violence, man. No violence. Well, you better start learning force really fast, because you can't get them to do anything you want without having some kind of force element. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. You're not going to hippy dippy your way out of this. No, we're non-violent, man. We're non-violent. Pacifism only works if there's people with overwhelming amounts of force backing your pacifism. Okay, Woodstock crowd, hippy dippy flower child, stoner free love bullshit. Unfucking believable. We're non-violent, man. Yeah, tell that to the people throwing bricks next to you. Shit is ridiculous. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of wrapping up my thoughts. But they're trying. If force wasn't a big deal, if being able to project force wasn't a big deal, they wouldn't be trying to disarm all of us. Constantly trying to disarm all of us. So just maybe, if you live in a state where you still have the Second Amendment, just maybe, the next time an AR is on sale, you grab a couple, throw them in a safe. If you want to train, great. There's a lot of great YouTube videos. You don't have to tell anybody. You can still act like hippy dippy stoner leftists if you really want to. But you've got to wake the fuck up. Not that there's any hippy dippy stoners watching this. But the days of being able to sit on the sidelines are going to be over. And there's still time. There's still time to try to figure this out. The nice way and the not nice way. But there's still time to try to vote. But you got to actually talk to everybody, and you have to actually allow a situation to exist where there's a candidate that can actually do something, and then holding that candidate when they get into office accountable. And that's what conservatives do. At least try to do. But the left just like, oh cool, we got our person back in, man. Our person, it's our person. We got a person back in. Okay, they'll take care of it. Like, no, you've got to hold them accountable. You have to make sure that they don't fall to the temptations and threats and fears. In the county that we came from, that's exactly what happened. The J6 thing happened, and our elected representative, I have no doubt that this is exactly what happened. They were given a piece of paper and said, if you don't sign this piece of paper that says you're against this, then XYZ is going to happen. And they signed it. Because it's like the letter's like, I was cowering in fear as January 6th happened. It's like, no, you fucking weren't. And if you were cowering in fear, how did you have this letter already written? You couldn't have been cowering in fear and writing this letter at the same time. The letter was written clearly before January 6th even happened. Like, wrap your fucking mind around all this stupid 9/11 retards. Like, I was cowering in fear and wrote this really, really long letter somehow so I could release it as soon as I wasn't cowering in fear anymore. I stand against Orange Man. Well, there's been a reckoning. She can't get elected for anything. She has been basically unelectable ever since. And even though she was doing pretty good. We had a pretty solid block there for a while. We had a really solid block, but the Portland people kept overrunning us and flipping the votes. And she buckled. And then the district got gerrymandered with some funky, they were like, this this little area needs a representative for this one committee, and then this committee changed the votes. Or no, they didn't change the votes. I'm sorry. This committee was able to change like some innocuous rule that completely changed the trajectory of everything. My point is, out of all that, we lost those elections. We lost the next elections after that too, but Orange Man got back in charge, and he was watching, and he grabbed two of our very strong candidates and then put them in charge. So Joe Kent now has a leadership role, which was a candidate that we'd really worked hard for. And Pete Serrano was another candidate that we worked really, really, really hard for. And so because of that, we have some leadership back. Like, there's really strong Pacific Northwest leadership up at the federal level now. So like, you can put a strong candidate down and still potentially make things happen, is my point. And then you make sure you've got those people's back, so people can't threaten them or sway them. Oh, someone put a traffic cone in that car. I don't know. For the one or two people listening to this, I appreciate you. I'll call this like after hours or extended rant edition or something. And for the people that are gonna bitch that they don't care about video games, I don't fucking care. And I hate to say that, but I'm just gonna tell them that. And I'm just gonna say, thanks for your opinion. I get bitched at no matter what. Oh, that's AI. Or, oh, that voice is AI. Oh, that picture's AI. Oh, that's a video game. It's just like, fuck. I don't care about your opinions at all. People like, oh, that's just... It's like there's people that do driving streams. Oh, they're just driving. Like, are you going to shit on them because they're just driving? That's dumb. There's people that just talk to fires. There's people that talk to the river. You know, I talk in my backyard. Like, just fucking get over it. Get over it. If you like listening to this, great. If you don't, great. Appreciate y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.